book today is the key to communication and marital bliss is love and respect, let's say. Okay, so she grabs this book and she starts reading through it. Wow, that's us, that's us. And she said, I got to buy this. So she buys it. This is the third marriage book she's purchased in the last 12 months for the two of them to read. She comes home and she devours it from cover to cover, and then she goes, he needs to read this. Brothers, man. But he's been busy. He doesn't have time to read it from cover to cover. My heart really goes out to him. He's been working long and hard. I'm going to highlight in yellow some of the key sections for him to read. Then she brings it and sets it on the stand next to the recliner that he reclines in. Blue recliner, blue TV, comes in with his blue megaphone, blue sunglasses, blue hat, blue everything, blue hearing aids. He lays down, he's watching the blue tube and just enjoying the blue football game when suddenly he sees pink. Oh no, she's underlined it all in yellow. Ah! This is the third marriage book she's purchased on marriage for the two of us to read. Can't believe it. First two books we read together, we got in huge fights. If I say anything about the marriage, I get in trouble. If I don't say anything about the marriage, I'm going to get in trouble. But if I don't say anything, I'm going to get in less trouble, so I'm not going to say anything. He zips the lip and refuses to pick it up. Why? Because he finally hears a message that he thinks she's sending through her pink megaphone into his blue hearing aids. I don't accept you. I don't approve of you. I don't respect who you are, Buster, unless you change right now. And he loses energy. You see, he has vulnerabilities where you don't. You see, God has given you natural abilities and strengths as a woman in the area of intimacy. You can't not look when you're talking about emotion. You feel comfortable in what we call the ocean of emotion. You will talk about your feelings again and again and again. Same thing. That women want to talk about relationship problems on a daily basis to keep the relationship up to date in order to prevent major marital problems. Men feel if you're talking about marital problems on a daily basis, you have a major marital problem. So what happens, though, you have to look, you have to talk, you have to say, I'm sorry, will you forgive me? And there's a whole set of things you go through on a daily basis to keep the relationship up to date. But at a certain point, he begins to hear this minor criticism as contempt for who he is as a human being. And it seems to come back around to this message, you're not as loving as I am. That's exactly right. Why? Because God made you a lover by nature. And he's under divine command. So there's always a discrepancy. So guess who gets judged? He does. You don't intend to judge him. You're trying to help him because you know that you'll outrespond him. If he just were to make some adjustments, you would outlove him. I know the motivation, and it's good. But at a certain point, your baby boy is going to shut down because it feels like ongoing criticism is contempt for who he is as a human being. You say, but the marriage book is so much more important. This is talking about the relationship than it is about the diet book. Yeah, I'm not comparing diet books and marriage books in and of themselves. But I'm saying, let's take that for what it is. So why do you go so ballistic when we're just talking about losing a few pounds? This isn't even about your character. So if anybody has a right to really shut down, this is about who he is as a human being, not just about the fact that there are a couple pounds overweight. So the point, though, is it's not a matter of judging one as better than the other, but to come to a point to say we're not wrong, we're just different. As different as pink is from blue and blue is from pink. And realizing that your husband has a vulnerability in the area of emotionality that God allowed him to have and gave you a strength. And so some women come to a point where they take pride in the fact that they have these natural abilities, but they take credit for it and then they judge him as though somehow he's a jerk. The question is that true? You see, when it comes to sexual intimacy, ladies, do you like the lights on or off? You like them off, most women, because you're self-conscious about your body. Your husband walks up the same way when it comes, you sit down eye to eye. We need to talk. Now, it's not a matter of justifying either one of us. The point is, I want us to empathize first and foremost what we're trying to say. He processes the world through that grid. In fact, it's interesting, if you were to come home with a marriage book and you see it, what's that book under your arm? That's a marriage book. Did someone give you that marriage book? They didn't? You bought that marriage book? Did you join some group that I don't know about and that's assigned reading? You didn't? She is blown away. She's on the phone. He bought a marriage book. I did not tell him to buy it. I didn't even hint. Why did he buy it? We're connecting. See, she's energized by his purchase of a marriage book. See, we're not wrong, we're just different. But here's what I discovered. I discovered what I call the love and respect connection. Why does God command the husband